My name is Margaret in Windsor, and I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in 1941. And I was 2 years old. I was brought to Moulton, Alabama, Lawrence County, to a pigsty where my identity was stolen, and I was given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey, married to Childers. Both twins, Peggy and Carl, had been murdered by their mother. They were born out of wedlock, and it was nothing but a pigsty, the abuse, all of it. So I'm going to skip on. I wrote a medical malpractice book that didn't get published because the names were, I thought it was the book. Larry McDonald, congressman, doctor, wrote about mind control, and I could go on and on. I put this on other tapes. Instead, I'm going to just fast forward. I had antifreeze put in me April the 1st of 80, and illegally transported back to Huntsville, Alabama, Redstone Arsenal. That's not where I lived. I've lived on the street and everything else. Bag lady, I was called, and I lived on the Appalachian Trail here and starved and froze and tried to camp and everything. But what I wanted to focus on is I stayed here. By the way, NASA, Redstone Arsenal, Huntsville, Alabama, that was built by the Brits and Germans. You bet your sweet Bippy. My hostage money went every which way. And I wanted to get this in. Where I'm at now, I was here and stayed for 14 months, and I'm not going to mention the name of it. I'm back here again for just a short while, a couple of weeks at the most, or 3 at the most. When I was here before, it was owned by German, but it was handled here by a management company that are Americans. But anyway, I managed to stay here because in this whole thing, somebody told me it lived at Edinburgh Village. It's a retirement where they did the same thing. They've made me move by gassing me. I'm allergic to chemicals, so they've done everything to me illegal. It's been done in plain sight. No one's paid for it. Been brought to court. It's a joke. I'm a joke. And the takedown of my father. Anyway, she lived there. She's still living there. She got my apartment. Name's Carol Rogers Simon. Her husband, or ex-husband, she says, was a psychiatrist out of Seattle. And when I was getting moved in there, I thought I had a low-income housing retirement for the elderly. She got my apartment. What was she doing there, you know? She said, you're paying for your family's crimes. She was talking about Germany and the Jews and all this, the gas. Well, what they've done to me is make me pay for being gassed. My immune system attacks itself. It causes inflammation if I'm force-fed fumes, and I have been every step of the way. My body's sort of deteriorated. Your organs go, your heart, your kidneys, your legs. Right now I'm so paralyzed I can't stand it hardly, and there's nowhere to go with it. But I put this all on videos. I went over, though, for breakfast the last couple of mornings. When I was here before, there was an Irish pub. I took pictures of that. I don't have now, but I wanted to say that it's gone. It's been renovated here, and it's owned by people from India. And I went over, and the pub's gone. Now then, it has the American flag, real big, tall, right where you go in to eat. So I'm a hostage. I'm Margaret in Windsor, Victoria II. And all these people have made off with me and the British. And I have been made to salute the American flag, and I've suffered the consequences for not doing it. Somehow I'm supposed to love these thugs who kidnapped me and have done nothing but torture me every step of the way. And I'm supposed to love them? Hell no, I don't. These are the people I owe. These are Brits from the UK, England, Scotland, Wales, with the same. I was brought to this country, and this is a glossed-up picture. They didn't have photos. I don't know, they got the clothes and all this. This is me. I ran away when they were trying to film it in 43. I was brought there in 41, and I was screaming, I'm not in this family. I don't belong here. So there's this story behind all this. This is me. I just got these growing up, and this is one growing up. This is my sons, Mark and Scott, me, an old photo, and heirs to the British Crown. My flag has been replaced, my culture, because I wonder, here where I'm at, and a year ago, there were people from, they're Hispanic, and when they've been replaced, which these people didn't care for me either. I realized that they were black and they were white that worked here before. But most of them had been replaced. And when I went over to eat, the American flag was a great big one standing there. You can't miss it going through the door. The pub's been shut down that was there. And the woman that runs, she's working there, goes back, and I guess she cooks some of the food. There's eggs out and sausage. And her kid was back there, a little 2-3-year-old with her. I don't know if anybody was back there or not. But the Americans kidnapped me. They stole everything from Great Britain, put their military bases on British soil. Now they're giving away everything while I can't eat. I paid for it. The Brits can't eat. They have to fight for the American interests. The culture's gone. I look around me here in the United States at what's been given away. They speak Spanish. You can't speak the language anymore. But they kidnapped me, the Americans, the white, and the black. They went along to get South Africa and Africa and all that. That's Martin Luther King I'm talking about. I had antifreeze. I've been tortured in ways that most human beings couldn't even believe. Larry Flint sent me out there. He was shot. I was writing about mind control when he was shot. People being programmed to shoot. And he even said, I know who was responsible for his shooting. And this is my dad, Edward VIII, illegally taken down by his own brother in the Illuminati, the Jews, the Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, Roosevelt. He appointed Joe Kennedy ambassador. That's JFK's dad. They flew in and out and stayed at the embassy in London. So how did I get across the pond to Cortland Air Base near Moulton, where they dropped me off? This is Elizabeth, illegal, part of the New World Order. She joined up with her dad and the Jews, and they're the Illuminati. You've got the President of the United States, Obama, probably every one of them was part of it. Maybe not Jimmy Carter, I don't know. This is the double that married my dad. Didn't marry my dad. I'm so upset right now I can't even walk. This is Wallace Simpson. Married a double, not my dad. My dad married Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, sister to artist Georgia O'Keefe. Here's my mom, Claudia, and the O'Keefe genealogy. Here's Georgia. And this is the family again where they brought me and I grew up. So I think that's it. I have to wonder about this morning, especially when I went back in. There's people that came in to eat according to a phone call. They're Hispanic, a road crew that didn't even belong there, and they were eating. I've lived on the trail. I've starved. I don't have clothes. And why am I living here? Because days that I made up from being here before that earned, I didn't know I had. So I'm only here shortly. And it's owned by people from India. Everything around here is. I'll go ahead and say it. And part of them told me way back in '95 when they were renovating then, it's done at such a high level that people want to pretend it's not happening. He told me, he said, we're Americans now. We have to do what they tell us to do. I'm not going to say their names. I've put it on before. This is where I am now. They're wealthy. They own everything, the land, everything, gas stations. And what do we have? The Brits in UK. All Americans had to do was look